Hello, and welcome all to another episode of the Spooky Horror Show podcast. I'm your host, Sean. I'm joined by Anthony. And as a reminder, this season's list was chosen solely based on the movie's box art. We're going to be judging whether the film is as good or bad as the box art, as well as whether or not we even like the film. Today, we're going to be talking about the 2022 slasher horror comedy. Comedy is a stretch. Night of the Killer Bears. But before all that, remember, if you'd like to support us on YouTube, you can subscribe, leave a like or a comment. All that helps with the algorithm and engagement. You can also follow us and rate us on any and all podcast services, which help us with visibility and charting. Links are in the description. Now, with that out of the way, Anthony, we tried recording this last weekend or Monday. I don't really remember. And
I think it was Monday.
Everything shit the bed.
Yeah.
So since then,
fucking...
how has your week been?
Oh, not bad, actually. It was a really good week at work, and I had a bunch of really good jobs for the week. Finally got a fucking controller, and it's pretty awesome. Liking that. So that's fun.
All Hall effect.
Oh yeah, I got an I finally got an actual tank for my airbrushing for the Gundam.
Oh, okay.
I was using like one of those little fucking like those little fucking fake ass little ones that would barely puts out like 10 psi. Yeah, it was working for what it is, but eventually you need to like get a little bit more. So I got that. That was actually
you need a little bit more kick.
Fucking never stopped snowing up here.
Yeah, you were saying yesterday that you had to shovel and de-ice and everything.
Yeah, man. Well, because see, like lately this winter, it was if I didn't get on top of it, it just didn't stop snowing. So since I missed like the first day, as soon as it stopped snowing to the point where I was like, okay, I can get out there, it immediately started snowing again. So I just kept putting it off. And now it got to the point where like even my mailman put down like, can't get there, didn't shovel. So I was like, oh, no. I'm like, no, I can't do that to that dude. I got to like fucking let me go.
What about if you put like the salt down?
No, I did, but we ran out. And then when we ran out, we had to fucking find it again and shit. So I kept doing that. And then it would melt, and that turns to water. And then what does that do? It freezes again because it fucking gets like 2 degrees overnight, and like it starts to cycle again. I was like, you fucking bastards.
I'm pretty sure winter is done for us now.
Lucky fuck.
Today looks like it's the coldest at 64 degrees. Over the next 10 days, I mean, by next Saturday, it's going to be almost 80 degrees. And it's just overnights will be like cold. And most of them will be like mid 40s. I think there's one night it'll be like 39, which basically means it'll be 40. So like,
yeah, but 39 feels good though at night.
Yeah. So I'm fairly certain like heading into March, like we're done with Texas winter. So finally got to do my Christmas present from the wife. Went to go see Tom Segura at the Moody Center. I think it's the new like arena thing there, but it was fun. But before that, we went to an Asian steakhouse in the Domain.
Oh, we have one up the block too. It
was awful, and I get that food at the Domain is just douchey. We get that.
It is kind of highfalutin, and I don't like that.
The wife loved it. She got what
did she order?
I think she got a Thai curry shrimp rice bowl. I got I think it was like a smoked steak rice bowl.
Oh, right. No noodles?
No, because with like the medication I'm on, it changing my taste buds, I'm not completely sure what's going to taste good and what's going to taste bad.
And you don't want to waste the money. And
so it's like I have to like make sure like all rice still tastes good, and so far beef and chicken, like the proteins stuff, like still taste normal.
But does it have the taste of the seasoning still, or does it just taste like meat?
No, it just tastes like meat. Even with the seasoning, it just tastes like meat. It's like it's fucking with all my stuff.
Well, that's a raw deal.
Yeah, but mine sucked because it was a big bowl, and when you order a rice bowl, you expect a bowl of rice with your protein, and then like pickled vegetables and stuff, maybe like on the sides, like surrounding it.
Oh, okay.
What I got was a shit ton of garnish, and then maybe like half a fist of rice, and then 4 cut pieces of like small cut pieces of steak.
Oh, well, that sucks.
She looked over at it and she was like, oh, that's not enough. You should have just got a burger. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't want a burger. I wanted a rice bowl, and they didn't even give me a fucking rice bowl. They gave me a bowl of pickled vegetables with some rice and a little meat. Yeah. So I was like, I was not a fan. I was not a fan of this. probably won't go back. Then we went downtown and saw the comedy special, and it was good. It was fun. It could just be that I'm old and grumpy, but
I'm gonna guess it's that.
I hate people. Like, I hate being around groups of people. I hate, especially like Austin douchebags and like fucking tech bros and like people that aren't fucking ranchers.
You know that you're pretty tech savvy, right?
Yeah, I'm tech savvy, but I'm not a tech bro. But then you have like the people that aren't ranchers, but then dress in a Canadian tuxedo with a giant fucking cowboy hat, yet they've never sat on a fucking horse before. And they're like, dadgummit. And it's like, shut the fuck up. You're from California. Fucking stop it. Like, you're not this. This is just like, I'm here. I'm gonna wear this and talk like this. And I fucking hate these people. Yeah, I can't be around people. I can't be around people, and I can't be around stupidity. I fucking hate it. I hate it so much.
It's fucking annoying. I'm telling you. Just like smokers. Listen, all of us are done with you fucking smelly ass smokers, all right? You can just get over this shit and stop smoking already.
For production facts for Night of the Killer Bears, the only thing I have is that this is the directorial debut of Can Fong. Oh, jeez. Benjong Finji.
Is there any way like that? Like, I've YouTubed how to say things from other languages.
Dude, yeah, no, I looked, I couldn't find anything. I'll put it up here. I'll put it there.
Because like, honestly, they don't always have it, because it is a very hard thing to always translate. So you know, they might not have that.
I don't know if he also wrote it, because there was nothing on the IMDb page for the film about a writer, and none of the credits were translated in the film. So you can't go by that either. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But based on the box art, what were you expecting from the movie?
Well, I will say that when I started to keep moving, I would say that the box, it looked like something like a teddy bear or teddy bears were going to do some murdering, and that's why I was like, okay, that's cool. And then we're not supposed to go further, but when it had the fucking thumbnail, it also had like a small description, which we were trying not to read, but it glanced over. It says Ted meets Terrifier. What? Okay.
Not at all.
So nothing close to not the box art or whatever the fuck that description was.
I don't know if the people that made this film or the people that even came up with the box art have ever seen the movie Ted or the movie Terrifier, because
definitely not Terrifier.
This movie is the Thai version of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and that is about it.
Yeah,
because I'm sure they're like, oh well, because the other thing is like it's a teddy bear on the box art. It's not a guy in a bear suit. It's not a dude just wearing a giant teddy bear head. It's a teddy bear,
an animated teddy bear,
like the size of Ted, holding a knife. You see it and you're like, oh, okay, this is gonna be like an actual killer teddy bear or something. And then no, it's just dudes running around with a fucking a giant bear mask.
And just the mask. It's not the full. It's not like the full thing where you have like little fuzzy paws or something, because that would have been kind of cool. And like they had like fuzzy like feet over their shoes. It was just a fucking head. Just like a. Doop.
I was kind of like, all right, this might be kind of cool. And like the box art looked fine, but man, once you start watching it and you're like, the fuck is going on? This is not this at all.
The music was odd. We'll talk about the music a little bit more into it.
Yeah, a little bit later. But the fact that they called this a horror comedy.
It was pretty comedic. It was pretty comedic.
But there's the one song that sounds like it's supposed to be a comedy. When they dance at the fire pit. Yeah, it sounds like it'd be like a Thai version of like a Weird Al song. And then when they reveal the killer, every time there's the a musical cue for like them talking, they start playing like this. They start playing like this comedic like music, and it's like
almost like I wanted to hear.
Yeah, is this supposed to be like a Benny Hill type thing?
That's what I just said. Like, you know, it's like a Benny Hill fucking thing to this.
I don't know. I don't think they really understood what they were making, but we'll get into a lot of the gripes.
The creativity to the max.
But we'll get into it as we go. Let's get into the plot. The film opens with a barista passed out at the counter of I'm guessing her coffee shop.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know.
A dude comes in and starts snapping some pictures of her napping, and that is super creepy. People, do not do that. Do not take photos of people while they are sleeping. He awkwardly tries to flirt with her and she just smiles. He offers to help her with anything she needs help with, but she just tells him to drink his coffee and get his own work done.
Leave. Like get do your shit and get out of here. Like
later, she tells him to finish up so she can close up shop early because she wants to meet up with her boyfriend. At first, I was under the impression that they were possibly dating and it was just like
or
weird
like
flirting.
each other, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
But then when she mentions her boyfriend, he gets this like weird incel-y look on his face, and it was at that immediate moment I was like, oh, he's definitely gonna try to kill her. Like there was no doubt in my mind. It's like this dude is gonna definitely try to kill this girl. So after she kicks him out, which I do love that he's like, you have a boyfriend? She's like, yeah, he's I think she said he's an engineer. He's like, so he travels a lot for work. Yeah. I don't really get to see him that much. It's like, well then is he really your boyfriend?
You're trying to like if you're trying to get him to not like stalk you and eat you at the end of the night, you probably shouldn't say it like that.
Yeah.
It kind of makes it sound like you might be down just clown and shit, you know?
But I love that she
goes,
goes,
not around very often.
Yeah, I just love that she's like, I could have sworn I mentioned him. And it's like, oh, that probably means that you've never mentioned your boyfriend
never
before, ever.
Never.
It's like, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. I thought it's like, no, you're gaslighting now. But she manages to get him out of the coffee shop and she's mopping up for the night when she starts getting some creepy calls. She tells him to leave her alone. He calls again. For some reason, she decides to go by the window and he reaches in, grabbing her arm. She manages to get away, but like any good cliche, she's only paying attention to the window in front of her, and he sneaks up behind her and knocks her out.
Well, of course.
How did he get inside the restaurant without her knowing when he was just at the window?
Dude, yeah. From the time that they show you the cut scene of it, you don't think it's like more than a second. So like it was like the hand popped in, and then she like and turned around and he's there. So there's already, if you paid attention, it's like, okay, so there's more than one person.
When she wakes up, she's tied to a chair and he starts going through this and has like this whole, like, honestly, I think it's like wine and like a spaghetti dinner, which is weird. I think it was just like the cheapest thing that they could like make because it just looked like spaghetti. It didn't look like noodles or pho or anything like that. It legitimately looked like it was like spaghetti and meatballs, but it, it's whatever.
As long as it's not ketchup and meatballs. Nasty.
But he starts to go through his whole like incel spiel and realizes that she's not going to be able to eat the food if her hands are tied. So he unties her.
Shit, Sherlock.
While he begins to like mentally spiral because she's like, no, I don't want to date you. I don't want anything to do with you. And he's like, no, you want to be with me. You're a liar. And all this stuff. She not so secretly sneaks out, making a shit ton of noise as she bangs into the door as she exits, closes the door really loud, bangs into the metal siding of the place, runs up against it, sneaks up to the side. It's like, Jesus Christ, man.
Basically, don't take this chick if you're gonna have an apocalypse.
Yeah, she's gonna let every cannibal know where the fuck you are.
Everybody know where you're at.
Stumbling around outside, she manages to find her boyfriend gutted and dead on the ground. While sobbing, she decides to just start rubbing her hands needlessly through his guts, getting blood all over her, when her stalker sneaks up on her. However, she turns the tables on him and slices off his arm and then slices off his head, all with one swipe.
Said this to the wife. I was like, come on now. I've seen enough accidents as an EMT that it's never that easy.
Never one slice. That's
never.
And it's one of those things, and
you need extreme strength for that.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where in like a minute or two there's going to be another slice, and it's just like I'm sitting there and I've watched this like 3 times, I think, And every time I'm just like,
can agree with that.
how fucking sharp are these goddamn knives? Like, it's insane because it's not
And there
even
was
like
an
going
axe. There was an
through.
axe, I think, in two or three of them that split someone down the middle. Which is cool. It was cool.
Yeah,
but like
it's
I'm like,
cool, but
listen,
it's just,
I
it just doesn't make
understand
sense.
force and relativity and all that other stuff. No one's gonna just hit that. It's a very, even if it's the sharpest thing in the world, it's still hitting a blunt object.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna stop somewhere.
This the arm getting chopped off and the head is like the head being severed is, besides like the dead body just like laying there, which isn't really a kill. It's just like, you know, a body just covered in like red dye. It's the first like part of gore we get in the film, and it's cool.
Almost the last.
Yeah,
it's not
but
that
it's like,
gory.
yeah, but it's like, it's cool. It's just that you can clearly tell it's CG because the head is a different like color grade than the rest of the film, and it's a different what's it called, frame rate. Like, it looks like the head was done at like 60 FPS and the rest of the film was shot at 24. So it just it looks odd. If like stuff like that was like tweaked a little bit better, I'm sure it would have been better, but it's whatever. She looks completely dead inside, to the fact that she just found her boyfriend dead and then decapitated his killer. She walks back inside her building staring at her bloody hands when a killer bear, or a killer teddy bear, or a teddy head, I don't really know what I want to call them, is standing behind her. And when she turns around, without screaming or really doing anything, he just slices her throat, decapitating her head. Now we get more weird stuff. Right after that kill, we go directly into the opening credits and we get news footage and newspaper articles about Kang being missing. We have no context for who the fuck Kang is, especially since next to nothing in these articles is translated.
Yeah.
We do end up learning something about Kang later, but not a whole lot. He really doesn't matter. But more importantly, we get a lot of footage of various scenes of men in bear masks attacking people and being arrested, like multiple times. It'll be it'll be a bunch of dudes looking like a Yakuza gang wearing like teddy bear masks,
like these fucking teddy bear masks, just randomly.
A dude chasing what looks like a maid through a field in a bear mask and stuff. Like, it's just weird, and there's no context for any of it. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
It's just there.
Yeah. So what exactly
Why can't it
is
have
this?
been like a Teletubby? You know what I mean? Like, why is it bears?
Because what is this? Is this a cult of killers? Is this a gang? Is this like a Scream franchise type situation where people just use the bear head as like a gimmick to get away with a murder? And none of it is ever explained really in the entire film. But now we start to meet our main cast. Young couple Aim, or as they pronounce it, M, and Win are driving towards a resort where everyone will be meeting up for the weekend. M has Win call their stoner buddy Tony to see where he is, and he is currently on a beach trying to get into the pants of two girls in bikinis. He asks Win if he brought it, and after a little bit, Win confirms that he has.
It's weed.
After they get off the phone, M asks what he brought, and Win starts acting really shady for a second and then goes, "It's just wine." Why are you being so shady about bringing wine? I at first thought like it was weed.
It's weird.
You know, I thought it was drugs, because I was like, you know, in Southeast Asia and everything, and really Asia as a whole, like, drug use is like very illegal.
I'm pretty sure they put you to fucking death if not worse.
Yeah, in certain countries, I'm pretty sure they'll fucking kill you. But I checked, and before this film came out in 2022, and I think in 2020, marijuana was decriminalized in Thailand.
In Thailand? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's not illegal, so there's no like, oh, we gotta hide the fact that we're doing it. You know? So like, it didn't make sense. I didn't really fully understand it, but I was like, whatever. Win tells her to give their friend Nan a call and see where she is. She doesn't answer because Nan is currently in an audition, which isn't going well. The director takes a call and cuts the audition short. Outside, she calls M back and tells her about the movie, but cuts the call short to flirt with the director. The second he
Naturally.
walked out and walked past her, I immediately thought, oh, she's gonna fuck this guy to get this role. Like,
it was set up like that.
like,
It was an implied,
immediately.
a foreshadow.
It's like, oh man, you're such a genius. I can't wait to work with you. Oh, I hope
Simping
it's
out like that? Come on.
Okay. And he just looks like a fucking dirty fucking pervert that would
Like a
do
tool.
that. Em and Win arrive at the resort. It's the same place as the beginning of the film, and as they head in, Win spots someone in all black wearing a giant bear mask, but doesn't say anything to anyone, which is fucking weird. After ringing the bell, the owner comes out from the back room. He's super creepy, and clearly not the bearhead dude, because they were in two separate locations and disappeared into two separate locations. But the dude is still super creepy. He gives them their room key, and after they leave, he goes back into a back room and turns up the radio. It's here revealed that he has a woman tied up and beaten. He grabs a knife and goes back to work on her.
Like, everybody's a murderer in this. And just to point out, if you ever do watch this, the music is very low. So I don't know what it was trying to hide.
Yeah, it's not like he's like
It's
blasting
low. It's classical music almost. It's like nothing.
And well, then here's the other thing. Why did he turn the music down?
God damn.
To walk out to talk to guests?
Yeah, and why didn't she make noise then?
Yeah, like that doesn't make any sense. It's
Our hidden facts. Questions we ask.
Meanwhile, also staying at the resort is what I'm guessing is supposed to be an OnlyFans model. I say this because she's streaming herself and I think talking about how she didn't have many viewers today, but asks her current viewer if there's anything he wanted to see. They decide on a bikini shower. That wouldn't have been what I suggested, but sure. So she grabs her phone that's mounted on a gorilla pod.
She's got a weird ass fetish.
Yeah, and they head out of the room. Over at an outdoor shower, the OnlyFans model sets up her phone and begins to shower, pulling out a single boobie. She's pouring water all over herself, and I love that the dude watching her stream is telling her to hurry up.
See her everything in there. Yeah,
he's telling her to hurry up because he doesn't know how much longer he can last. Like,
all you need to do less than 2 minutes.
All you need to do is take your hand off your dick and just chill out for a second.
2 seconds.
Like, that's all you got to do. Like, fucking just chill out for a second.
Woo saw that shit. Just woo saw it.
While showering, the killer bear sneaks up behind her, and as she turns around, she tries to scream, but he grabs her by the throat and drives the knife through her exposed breast and then cuts it off. It looks like one of those weird chicken cutlets that women use in their bras.
Chicken breast.
It looks super fake, but there's two things about this scene that bother me. The scene is cool, but this is not a kill. He popped a titty off. You didn't actually show the kill. Yeah. You have to show us the actual kill, but you didn't. The second thing is, why didn't the guy watching her stream alert her that someone came up behind her?
Yeah, like you didn't notice them behind her? Bullshit.
Because how distracted could he possibly be? She wasn't fully naked. She wasn't playing with herself. There was no sexual acts at all happening. There's just a single titty barely peeking out, and she's pouring water over herself. So you're trying to tell me you're trying to tell me that this dude is so hard up for a chick to give him any kind of attention that he doesn't notice a big dude in a giant ass teddy bear mask walking up behind her? Come on, man. Like, no. This is distracted. Stupid. Em and Win get to their room and find that it has no power, which is weird because the other chick's room had power, but whatever. Win tells her to just hang out in the room and he'll find out what's going on and get the power turned back on. So while she hangs out in the room alone, creeped out, Win walks around the property, eventually finding the power box and just flipping the breaker to turn the power back on. Most like resorts and stuff like that, their power is usually in like a secure location. There's locks on the thing.
Well, a cellar usually.
Why are you just walking up and like sticking your hand in like a random electrical box?
the way that whole place is set up, it looks extremely small, like bungalows maybe.
Like I would be terrified it's gonna start a fire.
And it was raining, if I'm not mistaken. Or I think it
was just
raining too. Yeah.
But the power's turned back on and an exterior light illuminates a killer bear teddy head mask dude smoking a cigarette through his mask. He didn't take the mask off. He just put the cigarette to the bear mouth thing and was inhaling it like he was smoking. I don't know if that was supposed to be the comedy or not. So it's whatever. With the power back on, Em sprinkles roses on the bed and while finishing unpacking is startled by Win. While they do some heavy petting, Tony finally shows up and just starts yelling in the lobby. Em and Win hear him and hurry up and get dressed, and as they head to the door, Tony is somehow standing right there. How did he find their room? Why didn't the owner of the place come out of that back room that's right by the front desk that Tony has to walk by to go to their room? He would have heard him as he walked in, because he walks in just screaming.
Screaming like a fucking madman.
Out of all the rooms in this place, he quickly finds their room. So this makes me think that either the room is super close to the lobby, but then even with the music playing, like the owner playing that music, they would probably hear him torturing that woman in a supply closet, right?
Yes. If she made, I mean, I would think that she'd make loud enough noise.
Yeah. It's like, or he just legitimately walked around just like peeping through windows until he spotted them and then just like posted up at the door, you know? Anyway, Tony asks if Nan is coming this weekend, and he tells him, and Win tells him that she's coming after an audition. Cut to Nan in a bathroom covered in blood. She's on the phone with, I believe you confirmed it was the police, and she's crying and begging for help, telling them that he attacked her, pushing her into the room, raping her, and then tying her up, and etc. And then she woke up and there was blood everywhere and he was dead. What is going on in this movie? We've now been introduced to 5 murderers.
So like, I was just like 5 other people are the murderers. This chick plays the I got raped thing, and they're all freaking out and shit. And this guy's like, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah. It's, you had 3 killers before the opening credits, and then the owner's a killer, and now Nan is a killer, and then is the teddy bear that the teddy head guy that was smoking a cigarette under the light, is he the same guy that was there in the beginning of the film? Is he a different one?
Because you never know about the other ones. You don't see everybody.
So it's like, I don't know. It's just like they're setting up entirely too many red herrings. It's just becoming kind of weird. Back at the resort, Tony and Win are hanging out, and as Tony is about to light up a joint, the owner tells them to take it outside. Tony offers Win the blunt, but he passes, telling him since that night he's been trying to be a better person. M goes to get
fucking mean.
I guess they were super like druggy party people, and now he's trying not to be a super druggy party person. I guess.
Okay.
M goes to get a towel, and as she leaves, a teddy head person is hiding behind a door, but doesn't do anything to her. And now Nan is here, apparently. She is silently greeted by the owner, where they just stare at each other, kind of like they acknowledge each other as like killers.
They knew the code.
But before any words are said, M walks in excited to see Nan has arrived. They chat, and then Win and Tony walk up. They all chat a little bit more, and then M walks Nan to her room. When M leaves to shower, Nan begins to get changed. She looks out the window and spots the killer bear on like that walkway outside her window. Doesn't say anything and goes to walk away, but then turns around and checks again, and the bear is gone.
Boom. Is gone. Nowhere.
Nan goes to the outdoor shower and begins cleaning herself when she's startled by a weird ass bullfrog sound. Spooked, she starts to head back to her room when she's waylaid by Tony. They start kissing, and before long, they take it back to the bedroom. Win, however, right now is picking up some twigs and shit while Nan and Tony finish fornicating. Nan tells him she wants to keep this between them, and he agrees.
On the down low.
Yeah, however, M was peeping outside. While all this is going on, the final member of the party arrives, and this is Chang. What is it about this place that every time somebody gets there, their phone dies? Did you realize that?
There's like a fucking spike. Yeah. Well, there's a relay. Later on, you find out there's
it's a signal jammer.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't turn the phones off. That would just block a signal.
No, yeah, you're right. It won't turn it off.
Yeah, your phone would still be on. You just
would have no
wouldn't
signal.
be able to make calls.
That.
Chang and Tony start having some drinks out on the patio. Chang complains that Tony didn't come back for Kang's funeral, but Tony tells him it's only because he's a cheapskate. When Win joins the conversation, things seem way more tense. They grab the girls, and now the party starts with them drinking around the bonfire, listening to some weird ass music.
Weird music.
I might put it right here so that people can fucking hear.
I'm not saying
is this the comedy?
Yeah, like I'm not saying it's because it's a bad song. It's just like not something you would think would be in this movie.
M quietly brings up to Nan that she knows about her and Tony hooking up, but Nan asks her not to tell anyone about it. And she agrees. Everything seems fine until Chang starts bringing up Kang, and they start whining that it was agreed that they wouldn't bring up his accident ever again.
That still looks suspect.
Chang blames Win for their friend's death, since it was his idea for them to go. Did they say driving or diving?
Diving.
Okay.
It was a storm like coming. Diving. It could be the other one only because it could have been pronounced differently, but I didn't hear that.
I think subtitles were diving. I think subtitles were fucked.
The subtitles sucked. They just were very hard.
It looked like they said driving, and I was like, they went driving and a storm hit. Were they in an accident? They keep talking about an accident, but then later there's like a whole scene of like someone being underwater and this stuff happening, and I'm like, I think it had to be they went out sailing and diving, and I guess so. It was probably a diving accident,
sea or something.
Because like, isn't it like they never found his body?
Something like that.
Yeah,
and they gave up too early. They felt or something, which
would actually make it more like I Know What You Did Last Summer than Ted or Terrifier. So Chang takes a swing at Win, and they start tussling. The fight is broken up, and what's his name? Chang decides that he's gonna go cool off and walks back to his room. Tony and Win keep drinking, and M and Nan sit down for a chat. At some point, M tells Nan that she's lucky she wasn't there that night. So,
which kind of sounds like a threat.
Yeah. And we'll get into it a little bit later. It's weird. Like, everything that's happening is weird.
The whole movie's weird.
Tony goes over to ask the owner of the resort if he has drugs, and the owner flips out on him. Do I look like a drug dealer? Yes, you kind of do. You look like a scary drug dealer. You look like someone I can get drugs from. Yes.
No one said we're passing judgment. We're just saying to you that we look like you might have known how to get some herb today.
Win and Aim head back to their room. Chang starts to hear that weird bullfrog monkey sound and goes to investigate. Eventually, he comes across a teddy head guy and is sliced in half by the axe, like you brought up a little bit earlier.
Doesn't work like that.
The gore looked cool. CGI was okay. It was clearly noticeable, and like you said, it doesn't work that way. These objects are very, very sharp. Very sharp. It just doesn't make sense. Tony comes back to find Nan alone and tries to put the moves on her again, but she doesn't want to hook up anymore and wants to know what happened to Kang. He tells her it was just an accident. They aren't killers. At the same time that this is happening, M is telling Win she doesn't want him hanging out with Tony anymore because he's just a pothead.
Just a fucking idiot. Yeah.
She decides to go pee, and a killer bear comes to the front desk and kills the owner. So I guess he's not involved in any of this. When he says
killer bear, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. There's a bear in this? No. A dude in a fucking bear head.
A teddy head comes in and kills the owner. So the owner's not involved. So there's one of our red herrings. He's gone. Chang
he's just a killer in himself.
The red herring is gone. Nan is startled by the sound of the resort owner being killed, which also startles Tony. She wants him to take the sound seriously, but he's stoned and just wants to make out, which once again, she's not into. The weird monkey bullfrog sound is coming from the killer bear teddy head thing, and Nan can tell that it's coming from Chang's room. When they get into his room, they find the room has shockingly low ceilings, completely red, and words written in blood. But of course, once again, they don't translate the words.
No.
So I have no fucking clue.
No idea what the fuck it says. What
scary thing
subtitle doesn't say anything
on the what is it? We don't know what's written in blood. You're not telling, and they write it in blood somewhere else later after someone else dies. And it's again, you're not telling us what the fuck this says. Sheet.
Like, what the fuck's going on here?
At least if one of the people looked at it, read what it said, and said it out loud, that would help. But they don't even do that. They're in there and they're staring at all the destruction and the blood on the wall, and they're standing there for entirely too long to realize hey, something's not right before Tony runs out of the room and heads for Win, just leaving Nan alone in the room. He's just you stay here, and he just runs away. Win is fast asleep, and M still isn't back from peeing. Probably had to make a number 2. Tony tells him that Chang is gone and then runs out of the room, running past M, and they all head back to Chang's room, where Nan is still just standing there. All of this is weird. How did he fall asleep so fast? Why was she gone so long? It's all of this is
Not a lot told to you throughout the movie.
They get Nan and then head back to the front desk to come up with a plan. They can't call the cops because they don't have a signal. I know they keep saying they don't have a signal, but every time it's brought up, the phone doesn't turn on. So once again, if it's a signal jammer, it doesn't make sense because the phone would still turn on, but they wouldn't have a signal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. At the front desk, Tony is screaming for Bob and mashing the front desk bell. We are 59 minutes into the film right now, and we're just now learning that the front desk clerk owner person dude, his name is Bob. Tony calls him Bob. Nowhere else is he referred to as Bob. Mentioned. In all the credits, he's referred to as owner. They hear some howling coming from outside. It's a killer teddy head person. So they think it's Chang and run outside, listening again. They know where it's coming from, and everyone takes off running. Not everyone,
but not like towards it though either.
Yeah, Nan stays, and then Tony runs back to get her, and then she starts having flashbacks of her murdering the pervert director and tells Tony she can't do this anymore and takes off running. For a second, Tony debates running after her, but decides to follow Win and M. Nan gets to their cars and is checking for one that might have keys in it because she took a cab here. He runs back to Chang's room and gets his keys. And here's the weird thing. She's about to get into his car and drive away. Into her friend's car and drive away. When she hears a thump, she goes to the trunk to see what the thump is, and it's a chick in a maid outfit tied up and gagged. So now, is Chang a fucking murderer too?
A fucking murderer? Yeah. Because they don't explain how that originally gets in there.
So I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. It's like every single person in this movie is a piece of shit. Who the fuck are you supposed to be rooting for? Like, I don't get it.
No one. It's not meant to be. Everyone's a bad guy in this one.
But you should at least have someone to root for. But it's like every single person is like, oh, they're a piece of shit. So it's like Chang, yeah, he's dead now, but you know, he was all like, oh, I know it's your fault that Kang is dead and like all this stuff, like being like all fucking like fucking we're better than you because like you did this. Yeah. But you got a chick bound and gagged in your trunk right now, and she's
I don't know if I see that you have to jump to their conclusion with that because they don't tell you anything.
Well, they do. When she opens it, she takes the thing off. She's like, please help me. He raped me and he's gonna bury me alive. And she took the keys from Chang's room.
Yeah, but
out of his bag. Yeah, so that's Chang's bag. So that's Chang's car.
Yeah.
So they told us.
One of the killers, maybe one of the killers.
How did they get his keys
in the back of it? I don't know.
Like that's
I don't know.
It's all of this is super fucking weird. Yeah, she tells Nan that he raped her and is gonna bury her alive. A killer bear comes out to check on the commotion, and when the maid won't be quiet, Nan knocks her the fuck out and closes the trunk very loudly, and then looks at him, and then runs away.
And then runs. You know, this is like the third time that someone cried rape.
Yeah, like
that's not a very good theme in a movie.
I'm so like the whole thing. Yeah, I don't know, because then it's like, you know, in the whole blood scene, like the cops, like that's still the same day. Like the cops wouldn't have just let her go.
No,
like she would have to stay there. There'd be a whole investigation and shit.
Yeah.
Like I feel like she called and she was like, help me, this happened. And then she just like took a shower and left. Like
she's like,
before they even showed up.
People were yelling.
Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know, man. Now keep this in mind, everyone. This is supposed to be a horror comedy, and I have not seen a single thing in this film that is supposed to be funny except for the music choice around that bonfire.
Yeah.
Nan runs into the surrounding, I guess, brush, like the forest, woods, I guess. I don't know.
It's not very dense, so you can see right in.
Because there's also like hay bales everywhere, and it's very confusing. Yeah. But now we get to see that there is in fact a lot of dudes dressed in black, wearing giant teddy bear heads, and
well, they're dressed in black suits too.
Yeah.
So it really does look like a gang.
But then Nan murks like 8 of these dudes.
Yeah, I know.
She like kills one, and then another one comes, and it's like, yeah, it's a cool scene, and shit, and Nan is super psychotic. Where did all this like mercenary assassin ninja skill come from? Like it's just completely out of the blue. Like I can understand like her killing the director because she's like, fuck it, this guy's not taking me seriously. Yes. He's gonna try to like take advantage of me sexually. Like I'll teach him, ha ha ha. And then, you know, doing that, it's like, okay, fine. But she's like jumping around and like stabbing and like dodging fucking knife attacks and axe attacks and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Some Lakita shit, yeah.
It's just so fucking, it's so fucking weird. But again, who are these people?
Keep you guessing.
Like,
they don't tell us who any of these people are.
We as the
all we
viewer,
know is those fucking other people that are getting killed. All know that guy Chain.
Well, like we as the viewers are completely being left out on something.
Confused.
Is there a cult of teddy bear head dudes running around that we've never been made aware of?
Just murdering people, murking people up?
Because with this group of friends who all seem like murderers, they all seem to have a shit ton of blood on their hands. So
they're murdering.
Like, I'm confused as who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Like
no one.
Then what's the point of the movie?
To play on society.
Everyone's a bad guy. Mic drop.
Everyone's a bad guy somewhere.
Nan is finally killed while the rest of the group finds Chang's halved body crucified. Tony starts playing with the intestines and Win runs up and like vomits. M runs off somewhere and Tony runs to find Nan while Win just stands there wiping puke off his face. Tony tells him not to leave M alone and they run off. Tony doesn't find her in her room but ends up running back into Win. They head to the front desk. No one's still there because apparently the bear killed the dude, the Bob, and then like took the body but then left the chick in the back tied up. Whatever, man. They head outside and find the car keys that Nan dropped. They suddenly decide to split up again.
I don't know why. Why is everybody splitting up?
Because Win still wants to find M and Tony, I guess, wants to find Nan because he still doesn't know Nan's dead. But Tony runs into the lobby because he ends up hearing like beeping and ends up finding that signal jammer. Meanwhile, M is just chilling in her room and a teddy head dude is just creeping towards her with a knife in hand. When Tony turns off the jammer, the phones just immediately turn on.
Immediately start.
That is not how a signal jammer works.
No!
This is so confusing. Tony calls the cops, but doesn't know the address of the resort and is eventually interrupted by a teddy head stabbing him. The call is then hung up, and then it's revealed that M is the mastermind of this whole thing. Is this where the comedy is supposed to be coming in? Because when they reveal
slapstick to this.
Well, when they reveal M, this is when they play like that comedy music cue, like this weird like Benny Hill type like music cue. So is her being
it's probably
the killer?
A play on the jokes on us.
Yeah, like I just don't get it. So she tells Tony that she's been waiting a long time to do this and then scolds the teddy head for not getting Win, sending him on his way to find Win.
Yeah.
I think he's the last teddy head standing. I'm not completely sure since Tony isn't going anywhere. She goes to check the back room where Bob kept disappearing to and finds that woman tied up. So she decides to finish the job and kills her while Teddy Head finds Win, but easily gets kicked over when Win, because Win doesn't, it's hard to rewind, and I didn't want to keep sitting through the same scene over and over again to see.
Over and over again.
I'm pretty sure when Win ran to the area where Nan was killing all those people, I'm pretty sure when he ran up, you saw Nan's dead body. But he never mentions Nan's dead body, and there's blood because you never look down and you don't see any of the bodies. And it's like, there's a lot of dead bodies to get rid of. There's like 8 dudes and her that you have to get rid of.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of death and murder.
Yeah, but there's like one dude in a teddy bear mask left. It's her.
That you know of.
It's M, Win, Tony, and a teddy head dude. That's all that's left alive. Everyone else is dead.
Teddy haired dude.
So it's I don't know, but I'm pretty sure when he ran up, I saw her because it was the only like human face that wasn't a teddy bear laying there, but he never really acknowledged it. He just looked at the writing that was on the hay bales, which was the same writing that was in Chang's room. And then he ends up running to look for Tony, and he's like, Nan's dead. You never acknowledged her body being there, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Just can't randomly pull that shit out of nowhere.
Yeah, but when the teddy head dude goes to attack him, he just like kicks him over and then runs away. And it's like, okay, man. He makes it back to the lobby, calling out for M, not Tony, just M. She comes running out from the back room and hugs him. He tells her that Nan's dead, and when he tells her they have to leave, she won't budge, and that's when he finally notices that there's blood on her. She starts acting like crazy.
And it's not even like a lot of blood either.
Yeah, it's like a little bit, but she starts acting crazy,
on the shirt,
like she's talking to Kang. Kang,
oh my God.
I don't fucking know. Win tries to run, but the teddy head dude is standing behind him, so he runs past M and heads upstairs. When somehow, with magical powers, M manages to grab a crossbow off the wall, run up the stairs behind Win, shoot an arrow in his leg, but then when they cut back to her, she's still standing downstairs at the bottom of the stairs. But she has a clear line of sight to him. Is this the comedy? Is this where the comedy comes from?
I noticed that too. I was like, wait a minute. It's like a Mighty Python fucking episode.
Because he drops to the ground, and then she drops the crossbow, takes out a knife, and begins to slowly walk up the stairs. He was so far past line of sight on those stairs that she would have never been able to fucking hit him. Like, that's not a fucking thing.
Hey, maybe it was like Eagle Eye or whatever that was.
Yeah,
where
she
does, like, around the corners.
Bullseye from Daredevil. She just fucking trick shot.
Oh God.
Win pulls the arrow out of his leg and hobbles his way out of the building and down the exterior stairs, only to get knocked out by a teddy head with a sledgehammer. M joins them and takes the sledgehammer to finish Win, but instead kills the teddy head. Win wakes up tied up around fire, M being crazy, blaming Win and the friends and like the friends group for the death of Kang, while she talks to a teddy head that's like on a spike, calling it Kang. She appears to go to kill Win, and Tony appears and shoots her with a crossbow in the gut. She's blaming the friends. I'm assuming
but she doesn't say why she blames them.
Yeah, like I'm assuming Win wanted to date her, but I'm assuming she was possibly dating Kang, and this was the opportunity to get rid of him so that he could fuck her,
I guess. But they don't tell you anything, so you're very much in the dark.
So it's like, it's super weird that like none of it's exposed.
I always think it's a lost in translation thing. I really do.
But then also she says to Nan, "You're so lucky you weren't there that night." So now I can understand killing Tony. I can understand killing Win because they played a role in your boyfriend's death, or a guy you like's death, or whatever, like, or brother. I don't yeah, but if it's your brother, I don't see why that would stop Win from dating her. I don't know. But like Chang, why did he die? He had nothing to do with it. He blames them for the dude's death too. Like, he would have been on your side. Nan wasn't even there. She has nothing to do with it. Why is she being killed?
No reason.
Like, none of this makes sense. It's like, again, yeah, like you said, maybe it's a lost in translation thing, because we watched the subtitled version, and apparently there is a dubbed version that people say is fucking awful. It is terrible.
Oh, okay. Because the one that we watched was, you just had to kind of like go off of what their subtitles were, and it was like, what the fuck? Because
it's like the subtitles that are baked into the movie that you're watching, there are those. If you turn on the subtitles, it doubles up the subtitles, and those subtitles in a lot of places are completely different than the subtitles that they have baked into the movie.
Oh, I fucking hate when that happens.
Apparently,
I always have to turn it off.
Apparently, the dub is completely different than both of those subtitles.
I don't tell it.
It's like, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't tell it. But yeah, we'll go with it's just lost in translation. Tony cuts Win down, and they make their way back to the resort and sit down for a smoke break for some reason, instead of just getting in a car and driving the fuck out of there. During this, a giant teddy bear in the corner of the room stands up and begins attacking them. It's M. How the fuck did she get back to the resort, climb into a teddy bear, and make sure she's in the same room that they would end up being in with a gut wound?
This is some Michael Myers shit right there, right?
It's like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. They gain the upper hand. It takes a while, but it ends up happening. Only for a cop to fatally shoot Win. Tony tells the cop to not to listen to M. All he has to do is look at how fucked up the two of the dudes are and see how relatively fine she is, and know that they're the victims. But the cop leads her out thinking she's the victim and tells Tony to handcuff them. Tony, what is it? While dying, Wynn confesses to Tony that he was in love with M, and saw an opportunity to be with her by taking Kang out of the picture all those years ago. Wynn dies and M kills the cop outside. When she gets back inside, Tony is gone, and staring at Wynn's dead body, she hears Cheng's car start up and drive off. Now it's morning and Tony is still driving when he starts to hear something in the trunk. Pulling over, he finds the maid, lets her out. She gets into the driver's seat and they drive off, having a nice little fun conversation. He asks her if she wants like a hit of, I don't know if that's supposed to be a joint or just a cigarette. I'm not completely sure.
A cigarette, because it looks like it might be a cigarette.
And she's like, no. I gave that up years ago. And he's like, oh, okay. And they just drive off into the sunset.
That's it. That's the end of it. Zero fucking idea what happened.
Back at the resort, M is cleaning up all the blood and dead bodies fairly quickly when the bell rings and she walks out to welcome new guests. And that is the end of Night of the Killer Bears.
While she's sitting there cleaning it, I turned to the wife. I was like, that's not going to get off with a black light.
So, Anthony, what are your final thoughts on Night of the Killer Bears?
It was dog shit. Like, it was a cool premise, but they didn't give you any, you have no idea where any of this led up to any of the events that happened. So it's kind of fucking infuriating. And they could have done a lot with it. One of them being, don't have that ridiculous ass name and don't make it sound like it's Ted and Terrifier.
I'm just still confused with why they were so, because like M says like, you know, I hired you to do a job. So it's like, okay, are the Teddy heads, are they a mercenary group? Is like that what they are? But then why are they just randomly like murdering maids and shit? Like, it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. And you're not explaining what any of the stuff is. Like if like the first,
or hinting,
if the kill happened at the beginning and that dude was like caught and you said all this stuff about like, oh, this guy went around doing this, and then people started like dressing up as him and like doing all this stuff. Sure. Okay. Fine, man.
Yeah.
Like, but then you have to translate all the fucking shit you have in a foreign language if you're putting it in another fucking market so that people know what the hell's fucking happening. But yeah, like this is not Ted meets Terrifier. There's the fact that they call this a comedy. Like there's nothing fucking funny about this movie. There's nothing
quite
funny.
Confusing.
This is more of like a weird take on I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's what this is. The acting,
which isn't a bad movie in itself.
Yeah. But it's like the acting was fine. The kills were okay. There was a little bit too much CG.
You could overlook that if we had any idea what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like what's going on?
Because it's not a terrible movie.
No, it's just not put together correctly.
It's a like, very middle of the road like 3. Okay. It's like it's there. But what sucks is it can't be a movie that you just put on in the background.
No, you have to, unless you have a dub version, you have to
you
have to sit and actually watch it. So then you're watching the scene for scene and you're like, what the fuck? At least if it was dubbed, you can at least just kind of like, okay, oh, what happened?
So I'm a listen.
Did I just watch this? Yeah, did I just watch this? Because I read it. Like, I know it happened.
I'd still give it like a 3. It's because it's not egregiously bad. It's shot fairly well. It's acted well. It's just the kills were fine. Because it's like the knife through Bob's head. That was cool.
No, there were good kills. Just it could have been a little better.
Her Nan killing all the, I guess they're mercenaries, all the Teddy head mercenaries. That was pretty cool. I mean, fucking Wynn kind of died like a bitch. You know. I don't know how M is surviving with a fucking an arrow to the fucking stomach. I'm pretty sure that's gonna like fucking spill out.
And no, it wasn't. And that one dude had it to like where his fucking his lungs were. I was like, I get it, but you would probably not be able to live past that.
Yeah, it's weird. The kills could have been better. Like I would have, instead of her just like it just cutting to Nan covered in blood standing over the guy, it would have been better to like see her on top of the guy like stabbing him, or something, like cut straight to like that
revenge.
even if it's like while she's like sitting on top of him, like straddling him, like stabbing him in the chest, you get the voiceover of her, like her 911 call. So that while that's happening, awesome. Then it just, the juxtaposition of her just immediately, like while she's stabbing him, she doesn't have blood on her face, and then the juxtaposition of her cutting over once the cop starts talking and she is covered in blood and she starts talking about, like, that would have been such a cooler scene. Actually seeing the OnlyFans model chick actually get killed, that would have been cool, instead of just like, oh, we ripped her chicken cutlet off. It's like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, it's weird, but it's like, it's not terrible, but it's not great. It's like, if you can watch it for free, watch it. 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay money for this. Definitely not. Definitely wouldn't pay for this.
It's on Tubi, so you can watch it on Tubi. I'm sure it's on like Freevee and all that shit too. But yeah, we only have. Well, what do you give it?
I can go with the 3. I mean,
the 3.
I wasn't like, oh my god. We both sat there like, this is fucking.
It's
more of like
weird.
You're watching it and you're like, this is fucking dumb.
Yeah, we got one film left for the season.
One film.
Return to Bloodfart Lake.
Oh god, this one.
Yep. That is it for this episode of the Spooky Horror Show podcast. Remember, leave us like, comment, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. YouTube, Spotify. The video versions are on YouTube and Spotify. Audio versions are available everywhere else. We're on Blue Sky, Instagram.
Still gotta look at that.
All the social media platforms, X too, but none of us fucking really use it. It's there. Yeah. But thank you everybody very much.
Out there in the universe.
Yeah, thank you everybody very much, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Laters.